Sanchez coming at her all the time.
Wins that point, but she hasn't had a big forehand for some time.
No, she certainly hasn't been playing quite as confidently, not with the freedom, and hasn't been going for the shots quite as much. Very much more brittle.
That's the sort of rally that Steffi has been wanting to drive in on Arantxa.
Yes, I think she's back now with both feet on the ground again. And what she'd really like to do to follow up that rally is a really good first serve. If not an ace, just something to soften Sanchez up so that the ball lands in the middle of the court so that Graf immediately can hit at her.
Oh, bad call.
Well, it's a shocker because Graf's in a winning position. Sanchez not put off by the call, and now you've got to go back to square one.
Did she unsight the line judge? That's the only defence. But as you say, it was pretty critical.
Of course, then they say they're unsighted and they leave it to the umpire, who was in a terrific position to see it and did.
Fraulein forehand crunching them home.
And when there's as much power on that side of the court, you've really got to do a bit of anticipating. Sanchez out of position. She had to expect one down the line to her backhand. Really can't blame her.
Well, she's extricated herself out of a hole there, and Mother Heidi and Coach Heinz nodding their congratulations.
Yes, that's as big a serve as she hit at 168. That's what she was really looking for. Mother Heidi, incidentally, was quite a good club player. Stopped playing in the mid-70s when she had back trouble.
Sounds familiar?
Quite, because Graf's actually got a chronic back problem.
She says it's a pleasure to train in the last few weeks, and it hasn't been for the last few years. And it looks like it the way she's moving. Must be agony for them.
Yes, you've seen it all before, but the only thing you want to see really is, I suppose, your child a winner, and if not, at least playing very good tennis.
Well, they've got that.
All to go.
Certainly the wind's died almost completely.
Let's hope it doesn't start raining, because then it mightn't stop for a while.
Oh! Margins
Yes, I think with Graf missing the 15-all point with a rather tentative backhand, she's decided that she's going to try and avoid playing it. Not that she feels her backhand's weaker, but she just doesn't want to get into a tentative situation again. So she's going to be looking for some big shots, I feel.
It's long. Steffi really fancied it. Vamos, he says. She's got a chance to move ahead again.
She ended up in a position here, Sanchez, where virtually the player opposite her knew that she had to smash cross-court, which is why Graf just stood her ground, and which is why she'd be disappointed, really disappointed at missing that. Smile says, I knew it, and yet I could do nothing with it.
There. There was a faulty technique. And Arantxa Sanchez Vicario moves ahead again and forces Steffi to stay in the set again. It's a match that's really got them going here on centre court. A fitting finale to the women's event. Clouds increasingly grey, but the rain holding off, as if to do this match justice. 5-6, Graf serving. Arantxa can't believe she missed it.
No, she'd like to have knocked the spot off this one, really. And she's got the ability, of course. She can really smash, but in the end she decided just to play the percentage smash. She hit over the ball back down the middle of the court.
Well left. So we're a point away from a tiebreak. Even if you're Steffi supporters, it can't be easy. This is the nitty-gritty here.
Yes, this is when excitement becomes almost unbearable, really.
Yes.
Tiebreaker, it's great, but it's fraught.
And even for these season campaigners, the brain must be racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and the coaching, we saw Heinz there, to remember what you should do must be increasingly difficult.
Yeah, so you just play really as you inwardly feel. This is all instinct now. This is all yourself.
Yes. Margin again. Just gone against Arantxa through this match. It might change.
Just a little extra power on the serve. They play a tiebreak about once every 8 sets, these two. More than one would expect.
And Graf seems to be slotting into overdrive. 3-love.
Yes, the crowd wants more of this. They want a third set. Graf looking at the court there because that serve really got up high.
Yeah, she had to change her shot. She needs to make those. They're mighty tough, but she's got to make them.
Well, I must admit, Simon, just looking at Sanchez in that rally, it seemed to me that for the first time in the match, she's got the feeling here that she's not going to win. And it's most unlike her. There was no conviction about any shot there, even her defensive shots.
4-1. How much needed was that? She found the aggression when she needed it. She's still in this, but hanging by a thread.
Well, the cameramen are ripped apart as we are. My Spanish isn't very good, and I obviously didn't read her very well because she played that point as well as she's played any in the match.
Wow. Well, that hasn't happened for a while. On the brink of her 5th title. Here's Steffi. And even she is really feeling it. So the mini break restored. Not that time. Must have been very, very close to the baseline. A lot of people down there pointing and applauding Arantxa for carrying on just as well she did, whether it was in or out.
Yeah, it got the line all right.
Mistakes on both sides. And for the first time after 3-love down, Arantxa is ahead in the tiebreak.
And now suddenly you're feeling Graf it is who's got to stop the rot. 4 points in a row for the Spaniard.
She is looking edgy. Called. And here are 2 set points for Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. And now she can't find the first serve. She wobbled badly. Vicario gets her reward, but Steffi had a look over the brink and she suffered there. So we've got what we wanted, a deciding set.
The French Open.
Please, no rain. Deciding set, Steffi to start. What we should have given us some freedom of movement like that a few points ago.
Yes, it just shows that the opponent can hold on, but there is such a thing as you having to win it. And that's obviously where she just failed it was a major hurdle, that tiebreaker. Because it was all her errors, really. It wasn't anything that dramatic that Sanchez suddenly turned on.
And now with the pressure off, I wonder if Steffi will get back to that steamroller style and manoeuvre Arantxa around the court and burst those lungs. That's what happened last year. The lungs couldn't stand it.
Yes, Graf hasn't played a tremendous amount of tennis, to say the least of it, of course, but she is just such a great athlete. So strong. Jean-Paul Lotte, who's always been a great influence in French tennis. Ex-Davis Cup captain, tennis commentator.
Second double fault. Wide. And here are 2 break points. This would have Arantxa in front in the match. Sorry, 40-30. So carried away. Henri Lecomte doing his business for France 2, who are broadcasting this match live nationally here. It's okay.
Well, Emilio Sanchez doesn't seem too enthralled, but he knows that you've got to control your emotions. And I think part of Graf's problem was that she was ahead in the tiebreaker. She was 40 love up in the game. And as I was saying, the job's never quite done until you do it.
These first 2 games are vital for Arantxa. It has so many similarities, this match, to last year. If Arantxa was to go a break up, then that similarity would be broken. And maybe Steffi's confidence would really be stretched.
Mademoiselle Graf.
And Graf has edged in front once more. 1-love, third set. Seems to me that, apart from all the technical things that Prue will tell us about, that the match has got 2 big question marks. One over Arantxa's stamina, how much she's got left, and Steffi's confidence, how big is it at the moment?
15-0. Deuxième service.
See this as an absolutely key game right here. Footwork wrong.
30-0.
Yes, of course, it's one thing to be fast, but you've actually got to get those feet totally synchronized to the shot. And you could see there, she just made her move a little too soon and was a little too far back from the ball when she attempted to hit it.
40-0.
Yep, second double.
She really seems to be trying to snap the serve a little bit more than I've seen her in this game, almost as if she's determined to try and prove that she's not tired. Or more important, perhaps, she's trying to hammer down the nail a little harder.
It was a poor shot.
Yes, because it was a neither here nor there shot. She wasn't looking to come in behind it. It wasn't really a drop shot.
Well, I think Arantxa will take great comfort from that. Last year, remember, after Arantxa had won the second set, Steffi carved her up in little pieces for the next 20 minutes. It was a whitewash third set. Nothing whitewash about this set.
Well, it must be terrific for Graf to actually play a shot. Look at her, she's right back here immediately after it to play a shot with Sanchez really nowhere in sight. Of course, Sanchez has played more tennis coming into this, not only into the final. In fact, she's played 29 more games coming into this final than has Graf. Graf's in fact played more tennis, I believe, than she did last year prior to the French.
There, Arantxa. Poor girl. Steffi's shot so nearly out, hers out. Again, the margin against her.
Yes, and that's the lines lady who indicated that it was in. And of course, as a player, you can be put off by the emotions and size of the crowd. Not always easy to handle that.
A love game for Steffi Graf. And there's a walk full of authority. Back in front again. Arantxa showing the new balls to Steffi Graf. It's 1-2. Deciding set. You're watching the final of the French Open here live on Eurosport. Call good. So why is Arantxa walking up?
Yes, I don't think she quite appreciated that it had been called good. And Graf now going to have a check herself.
Too good.
Well, when last did we see a drop shot? And the great Hopman, the Australian coach, used to say, when you start drop shotting, it's a sign of tiredness. Well, I wouldn't blame either of these two if they were tired. It's tiring watching them, but it's thrilling.
It's also tiring trying to get to it. And failing.
Seeing the lines people dipping there, that nice picture, there were 357 lines people, and they take some pride saying that 14% of them are women this year. I'm sure they'd like to see that up a bit.
Boom.
I think that's the shot really that's given her most of the dividends in this match, is this inside-out forehand. Of course, she hits it so flat, but she's had a lot more success with that than she has the cross-court. Not that she's hit the cross-court badly, she has once or twice, but Sanchez has anticipated it.
Okay. Very okay. Vital point.
Yes, once Sanchez sees that Graf's going to use the slice, she feels that she's really in with a chance in the volley. Because, of course, Graf's got to keep it very, very low. And she didn't hear because the ball was a long, long way away from her. She couldn't cover it with her body.
Two games each. Incidentally, for those of you in England who stayed with this match, you made the right decision, of course. And the England-Switzerland match from Euro 96, we will have the entire match for you tonight at 7 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock if you're watching in the rest of Europe. But why on earth would you want to switch over from this?
0-15.
New balls in the last game, so they're showing up a little better against the brick-coloured court. Power for the server, but also extra power for those who want it on the ground strokes. And as we've seen this week, it's been a significant advantage for players having that extra power. So many of the men coming through, those who like to use the big serve, but still not an ace in this match.
Very few cheap points. That's one there. What a shot!
Well, what a phenomenal point. Graf chose to half volley it. She might have come in and volleyed sooner, but that's not her style. But this is certainly Sanchez style, just scurrying and terrorizing people with her terrier-like instincts. Wonderful play. Look how far she had to come.
And her celebration almost as exhausting as the run.
Yes, look at it.
30 all. Well, she had her there, just one move to the net and put away the volley, but she won't do it. And now after 2 hours, break point for Arantxa to go a break up and in the lead in the match for the first time. She's got it. A terrific game. Could she be on her way to a tumultuous win? It's 3-2. So many of their recent battles have been joys to watch, and here's another one. This is as good as any.
0-15.
The last 5 through have gone to 3 sets. The last 5 matches between the two. Graf won 3 of those last 5. It's 3 all in the last 6. Wow.
Yeah, that's a surprising, as I was saying, that when she's hooked the forehand, it hasn't worked as well as when she's gone way across to the Sanchez backhand side. But I suppose the thought crosses your mind that you just want to try hooking another one because the opponent will be expecting the inside out. And now she's got to stoop down and pick up the pieces rather quickly.
What is occurring here? Just a snarl as she gets up. All that matters is she lost the point.
It all seems a little unnecessary, doesn't it? Sanchez making quite as much effort as she has to, rather saving it for points that she knows she can actually win. And Graf hitting balls as she does, not letting them bounce. And yet, that's what they know about each other. Each knows they can beat the other. Each has tremendous respect for each other. And they know they have to do their utmost to get the better of the other.
Strange mixture this game. Graf started off as if she was really in the doldrums, but now Arantxa Vicario a little anxious. Break back point. There's aggression.
Yes, this is one of the few times where Graf's actual athleticism lets her down because her legs are so long and she likes to take long strides. She hasn't got Sanchez's ability to change direction quickly. This girl has more staccato sort of footsteps. Shorter legs, quicker action.
It's wide. So far, every time Arantxa's had a break of serve, Steffi's broken straight back. This will be the first time that she'll have held a serve after breaking, if she wins this. No, missed again. 4-2. They still look anxious, the Spanish contingent. How much petrol has she got left in the tank?
Quite. Well, the more she wins those big points, the more there will be left there. Just tremendous defense. Graf was looking for the big one to be able to go back to her backhand side again, but she forces her to make the hooked forehand, which is letting Graf down. I think she's got to do a bit more of that, Graf, because she gets into the opportunity of playing the inside-out forehand, and then of course she's left with the predicament of either going back there again with it on the ground stroke or hooking the forehand, whereas if she tries to make the volley, we don't want to turn her into a serve volley, but she's got to change this around.
Oh! The cheek of it.
Yes, and I think acknowledgement from the camp, but of course Graf was hanging back. She had time to play that as a volley, and by not playing it as a volley, given this girl's brilliance, she might have got away with it otherwise had it not been Sanchez, who can play mid-court half volleys. What a shot.
Momentary lapse of concentration. Wide. But Arantxa knows that Steffi may have wobbled here in front, and she has a tendency to do that, but behind she can play like the devil.
Exactly. That's the perfect play. Even then she hung back just a little bit, but once she can strike that inside out, get the two-hander on the reach, making her virtually play at the end of her tether, using the one hand here, it's going to be a lofted shot.
Merci.
Her title is hanging, and it's not a situation she's comfortable with. Her fourth double. And the nearest we've had to sunshine during that particular point. as if to celebrate the match. Steffi's not playing as well as when she started. She had a tremendous first set of the very, very best tennis she can produce. She's played well since then, but not that well.
Sanchez returning so skillfully, though.